Okay, everyone, welcome back. So we are still here with Jack, aspiring actor from London. In our first
Hello.
part of the chat, we were talking about drug culture in UK and London. More specifically, we're just talking about our experiences with drugs and how it's affected us as young people. So in this second part, we're gonna delve in a little bit deeper. We're gonna talk about the Black Lives Matter
Serious shit.
protests that
Mm.
happened last year and just Black Lives Mattering as a whole here in the UK. And we're going to touch on bigotry as well. So, Jack, what do you think about the Black Lives Matter protests? Do you think they were
I
effective? Do you
yeah.
think more could be done?
Um I think more can be done from I think it's got the reaction out of the general populace. It's got the right reaction, it's got the positivity towards it, but there's still a massive, like, I won't say massive, but there is still those people that disagree or don't exactly know what it is, or don't think it's
Yeah, I get
like,
you.
because obviously because sometimes, like what you said, the protest last year, people saw those protests as bad, like people saw those protests as violent, but the thing is, they didn't they none of those protests that involved violence was by Black Lives Matter. It was just by certain individuals that ended up just painting a bad picture, which obviously then gets twisted and shown to the like general public, and then obviously they can make their own minds about it. What do what do you think of the like media's portrayal of Black Lives Matter? We'll say
The
the
media's
British media.
portrayal.
Yeah, because obviously
Um,
because obviously you can just like see, like you just see on ITV News would be like they'll like label it as Black Lives Matter protest turns into like, I don't know, massive street fight or some shit like that.
yeah.
Like what do you think about that?
Well, I think that's quite an interesting question, actually, because I did notice the way that, for example, channels like BBC News and Sky News, some of the portrayals of the protests were not always positive,
Mm,
or even taken seriously. Like the way they'll talk about, especially the ones in London, it was almost as though they didn't really take them seriously. They saw it more in a negative way than a positive way. But everybody knows the media is very selective about how they present
mm,
information and what
oh yeah,
information they present. So it's always important to do your own research, which I think is a good thing that has come out of the Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of people have been self-educating and just learning more
yeah.
about Black history and Black culture, which I think is all good. We
I
can't
think
you
yeah,
can't just
you
depend
can't
on
exact.
those news channels anymore.
But the thing is,
That's the truth.
there are people that only see those news from those channels. So obviously, the way they choose to portray it is the way they're going to take it in. Like this very they're very conservative channels. Like the
Especially
same. Like,
BBC.
oh, I know BBC definitely, but like I mean, my parents. I don't think they watch BBC News, but I know they have in the past. So when they just hear about certain things, it can just be they can be blinded by what it actually is. I mean, it could be one thing, but
Yeah,
it's changed and manipulated and shown as another thing.
definitely. Definitely.
Do you think do you think where how long for like as long as Black Lives Matter has been a thing, do you think it has achieved enough in your opinion?
I think what it has achieved is just people being more aware, people being a bit less ignorant. Like I said, people educating themselves, being aware of, terms such as white privilege and things like that. So I think in that respect, it has achieved a lot. But I think in terms of overall equality, there's still a way to go. And I feel like that would take having protests that have like a specific purpose to kind of get to the root of that.
Well, with equality like it mentioned, I'd just like to get your opinions on the use of the N word.
Okay. Go ahead.
Like,
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
think
yeah.
like do you, so say me and you are chilling, yeah, and I don't know, just like a song comes on, and I'm not saying that I would because I'm not gonna lie, I normally don't, but like say it would be said in a song, and me singing that song, and then it is said, would you then be offended by that, even though it has been quoted by the artist, and it's not generally me saying it? What do you like? What do you think? What do you think about that?
I think the reason why a lot of people have a problem with that is just the history of the word. A lot of people are
Yeah.
aware of the history of that word, and the history of the word has many, negative connotations to it. So I think that's why people don't feel comfortable with white people saying that. And it is a bit of a
Yeah.
contradiction because it's not a good word to say anyway. It's not the best
No.
word to use to describe somebody anyway, whether it's a black person talking to another black person or whoever it is. It's not
Yeah.
the best thing to say, but I literally just think because of the history of it, I think that's a big part of why people don't feel comfortable when a white person says it.
Yeah, because obviously, yeah.
It all comes back to that really. That's why they don't really feel comfortable. In my opinion, I don't think it's the best word to use to describe someone, anybody, no matter who it is. I feel that people kind of use it in music because they're trying to reclaim the name in a positive way. But
Yeah, but I thought it does sort of just
I don't know.
create more of a divide of it, though.
It yeah, I mean the way the use of that word, people have different opinions. Not everybody thinks it's a great word to use anyway. But I think people use it in music because they try to it's almost like they're trying to make something positive out of something negative. Whether that's really achieved or not is another thing. Because I'm not really sure it's effective, but yeah.
No, yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah. I think a white person could never say that and it would kind of sound right, kind of it would feel right, wouldn't it? It just
Oh,
wouldn't really
yeah, no,
feel
it
right.
would.
Yeah.
No, yeah, yeah, of
That's pretty much
course. But
yeah. Yeah.
no, yeah, no, that's it. No, it's interesting because, yeah, obviously it's like obviously jokes get made out of it, and to be honest, people, it's like even when we're speaking now, and you're saying it's just not a nice word. I mean, we're literally
It's
speaking
not.
of it. We're literally
Mm.
speaking of it. Like it's not even being mentioned. That's how bad of a word it is.
Yeah, it because of the history of it, I feel like you
Yeah,
can try and make it a positive word, but it's never going to completely be a positive word. kind of
No.
thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes me and my friends, we may jokingly, I guess, abbreviate the word, but I
Yeah.
don't go around calling people that. I think many people don't go around calling people that. And I think with,
Do you think
especially
it would
with like
be?
our generation is more sensitive to things. I don't really hear
Mm,
people saying that so much. Like people, younger people, I don't really hear them saying it so much. But
do you think it? Do you think it would be a better? Do you think it'd be better for just everyone to just stop saying it?
yeah, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think it needs to be said. I don't have
Mm,
a problem with it, but
no.
if
Yeah.
people stop saying it, if people stop saying it, I think that would be great.
And making it and stop making it such a casual word, because in some things it can just be such a casual word, especially in like movies where there'll just be like people just saying it to their like friends, or like just saying it as just in literally in conversation. So I mean, like
Yeah.
I mean there was loads of backlash when like Eminem would like Eminem I think I don't know if I think Eminem's like said it once or something like that. I don't know if he said it in his songs, but I know there was like a massive backlash about it just because. But the thing is, it wasn't hit. The massive backlash wasn't about him's like the him saying the word. It's the fact that he said it and he's white. That's the thing that made it like such a massive thing. So
Yeah.
do you really think like when you mention equality that it can be reached when that word is so prevalent and made such a problem by both the black community and the white community?
You know what you're saying is very deep. It's very true. And
Mm.
I never even thought of it that way. So
Oh no,
that's a
it's such
great
a.
point.
Mm.
We kind of have to like move away from you're right, because I feel like the only way we can move away from the past is we got to leave the past in the past. And
Yeah.
I guess saying words like that, that's part of the part, that's part of the darker past. So I
Mm.
think leaving behind saying things like that will just help to move forward with more equality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go
Yeah.
to did you go to any Black Lives Matter protest?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I didn't. Like, I think with the whole, I know it sounds silly, but with the whole Corona thing, I just didn't, I wasn't keen on going kind of
No,
thing.
yeah. No, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I think at first, I kind of felt like maybe people were doing it because it was a trend.
Yeah. With
So
the
I
yeah,
wasn't
with
really
the
into it at
black,
first, but I think
black
from
fucking
that
boxes on
trend,
Instagram.
a lot of positivity has come from that trend. So yeah. Did you go to
Yeah,
any
no,
protests?
no, I can't say I did, but yeah, again, they did become a trend when like the pandemic was really like at its worst, and then you obviously see all these things, like you'd see all over social media these massive groups of people gathering in like the midst of a pandemic. And I know obviously the the message they're trying to get across is such a like positive one, but the way it like looks is be like, especially in like what was happening, people saw it as more like, why are you gathering in a massive crowd? Like that's not a good thing.
What did
Even
you
though the
think?
message they were trying to
What did you think? You know, when they were pulling down the statues like of Winston Churchill and all of those
mm,
white influential white men in history, what did you think of
yeah.
that? Like,
Um I definitely don't think the ones who first created like Black Lives Matter as a like like the first people that properly started pushing it as an agenda. I can guarantee they never thought or wanted that sort of thing to happen. But it is like it is just like a message of like we don't care who they are. That kind of behavior accepted.
Yeah.
And it didn't even matter who they were. I mean, with like Winston Churchill, literally, you're like growing up in England, you know who Winston Churchill is because